ketubas. Here, I was Benjamin, I was telling you, I had my grandparents' ketubah restored, museum quality restoration. And you could see this is the Jewish one, because it has the names of the Edim, of the witnesses, and who got married and what day and what year.
Wow.
This is the Muslim ketubah.
Wow.
Ornate, decorated, and nowhere on there is anything to do with Reuven. Abdul Rahman, yes, this is what Nassim Basalian, the leader of our community, scholarly leader of it. And you could see how beautiful, and you could also tell if people were moneyed, they could afford to have illuminated ketubas.
Very cool.
So here is another one where they're beautiful, and you cannot tell this comes from a Jewish wedding.
Okay.
And then I think it's showing you pictures of the people that are mentioned in the ketubah themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong. See, this was up for auction at Sotheby's. And so
Wow.
this is a history. Marriage contracts from Mashhad, 1853. They were still crypto Jews then.
Crazy.
This shtichim, carpets with Jewish themes that are family, the Kalatis, and you could see that you have the 12 tribes on either side. I think this was Solomon, and you could see it's written out, Malkat Shiva, that this was the Queen of Sheba.
Right. Wow. Wow.
Amazing, amazing.
Really cool.
And yeah, and you could see Yonah is the bird, and that you have the different animals that they had, and then you have the Aryeh and different animals there. So there's a lot of history. I have one of these carpets, not quite as nice. And then this is the one off of my wall. And it's interesting. It looks like the one I have, but they were woven by non-Jews that didn't know the Hebrew alphabet. So sometimes they would flip over the letters the wrong way, but you can see the beautiful Aseret HaDibrot in the middle, Benjamin, with the cherubim on either side, hanging over the ark. Then underneath it, Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. On the right, Moses. On the left, Aharon. So beautiful. Benjamin, thank you for this opportunity, because this is a legacy piece for my daughter, that she should appreciate where she came from.
Absolutely.
This is my grandfather, Moshe. They called him M.B. Kalati. He was the Kalati. And he was my grandfather. He was in Herzliya. He made Aliyah in 1948. And the house is in Herzliya. It is exactly the way they bought it in 1948. My cousin, Nessia, lives there. And I was there when I was 4 years old. It was just like I remembered. And this is my grandmother. And she is from the Haji Bai family, Hajioff. She's a Hajioff, Haji. Businesses, carpets, gemstones, furs, real estate. We did not have back in the day doctors and lawyers. We were merchants. We were property owners. My father was in the fur business, and they were in the carpet business. Those were how people would make their living. Then this is a little blurry, but this, This is my Uncle Judah's wedding, my mother's brother, and too much about my family. This, I think, is interesting. This is in Herzliya. Kalatis had a fabric store. I was there. I was 4 years old for Uncle Levi's wedding. That's my mother selling it. And to the right is my Auntie Rosie, Shoshana, and to the left is my only living auntie, is Auntie Rachel. And I go out of my way, Benjamin, every Sunday, I go out of my way to call her. She lives in Yerushalayim, in Ramat Eshkol, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to speak with her and to just hear from her. She's the last living Kalati from my family. This, I was telling you, is the shopping bag, Kalati and Sons, and you could see Mivchar Gadol, big selection, Levadi and textile. So this is their business. And then here you have the magic fabric, Benjamin, terylene. Terylene was this stainless cloth. It didn't matter what you spilled on it. It didn't stay on it. And this you could see, 41 Sokolov Street in Herzliya. So this is the end of the road. And this is a crazy, interesting, exciting story. So we're going to finish strong. So as I told you, we were forced to convert to Islam in the city of Mashhad. And this is my great-grandfather's tombstone. Now, how does he get to where he is today on Har Zeitim? Is in Mashhad, the city grew, and they wanted to widen the road in Mashhad. And it's right adjacent, it butts up against the cemetery. And my great-grandfather, Nowruz, had a very prestigious plot right in the edge of the cemetery. And he was still the person that managed the cemetery when he heard that they wanted to dig up the graves in the Mashhadi cemetery. He says, you must not disturb the bones of the great Nowruz Kalati. And it turns out that my Uncle Levi had the bones of Nowruz Kalati exhumed from Mashhad, and it says, Sabenu Hayakar, our grandfather, Hayashash v'hatzadik, Hayashar v'tzadik, minichbedei v'yikarei kihilat anusei Mashhad, Benjamin ben Yaakov, Or Nowruz Kalati, the great Nowruz Kalati, Niftar b'Mashhad Paras, he died in Mashhad on the 12th of Menachemov, v'atzmosav huvo mimashhad acharei shishim shana, and if you could see the rest of the picture, heviu oto lahar zeitim erev Yom HaKippurim.
Wow, very cool.
So this is where he rests. And these people, they weren't pushovers about their Judaism. The parents married the kids off. And I'll conclude with the larger-than-life story that they're screaming in the streets at my great-grandfather, you Jew bastard, you pig. He goes, are you out of your mind? What are you talking about? They go, you go check. You check where you're from. He goes, and they're afraid to tell him, the Zekenim, the elders. And they say, well, Nowruz, you know, your father was very rich, and he had 3 wives. And we're not sure, but maybe one of those wives were Jewish, and maybe, he goes, just tell it to me straight. I'm Jewish? He goes, you came from the converted Jews. He goes home, as he did every night, and he has this big sack of meat under his arm, and he throws it on the table. His wife comes out of the kitchen, and she says, hi, Nowruz. And he looks at her, and he says, leave my house. which is how you get divorced in a Muslim country. And her eyeballs open up. What? Leave my house. Goes, what? Goes, listen to me. There's a new sheriff in town. I just found out that I'm Jewish. And you see this meat over here? I can't eat this meat. It's not kosher. I'm Jewish. I have to eat kosher meat. So I can't eat this meat. And guess what? I can't be married to you anymore. She goes, no, Luz, you're right. You bring this meat home every day. And I pick it up, go into the kitchen, and I open the back door, and I throw the meat to the cats. I got news for you. I have my own money. I go to a butcher every day, a kosher butcher. You never ate on kosher meat. I'm Jewish. He says, what? You're Jewish? I'm married to you. I don't even know that you're Jewish. My mommy and daddy told me, don't say anything to anybody. It's dangerous. And there is the story of the sacrifices that our ancestors made to preserve their Judaism at the threat of death. And if you see Nissim Basalian, he'll tell you that what we did to preserve our Judaism is the zechuyot that we have had. Very few marriages that fell apart because our ancestors kept it together. Benjamin, thank you.
Thank you very much. Really, this was amazing. And we hope to have you on again because you have so much to tell us about. We didn't even get into the Haftorah man stuff and everything else and Purim. But hopefully we're going to do this another time.